Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live episode of Langer at the Mic, another Habs postgame show here on Langer at the Mic. The Montreal Canadiens, they might have gotten shut out by the Calgary Flames on Saturday, but they went on another goal-scoring rampage against the Vancouver Canucks, and this time they win 6-2 against the Canucks. And honestly, look, the Habs just took it to the Canucks again. I mean, sure, the Canucks, they were a lot more underwhelming in this game. They're a lot more underwhelming in this game than they were 2 weeks ago. They turned pucks over a lot, and they might have won 4 games in a row, but the Montreal Canadiens, they ain't the Ottawa Senators, and they just cruised to another dominant victory. You know, this could have been a game where there were 19 first stars or 17. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's get right into our breakdown of our good and bad habits from this another dominant Montreal Canadiens victory. And let's go in order, starting from the top. Nick Suzuki, you know, he was on a 7-game point streak to start the season. Obviously, that ended against the Calgary Flames. But right off the bat in the first minute, you know, him, Jonathan Drouin, and Josh Anderson come in on a 3-on-2. And Drouin's shot missed initially, but, you know, kudos to Josh Anderson for crashing the net, finding the puck, and making a really nice pass to Suzuki, who just buried it quick off his tape. Really nice play, really nice finish by Nick Suzuki. And he just played another great game, just continues to find himself at the right place at the right time. There was obviously the really smart play that he made in the neutral zone, just kind of getting in the way of the Canucks breakout attempt, and that caused a turnover, which sprung Brendan Gallagher loose for his goal. And he even sprung Josh Anderson loose on a breakaway late in the third period, where he made an identical pass that he did to Tyler Toffoli against the Flames. And Josh Anderson just unfortunately couldn't finish it, but at that point, the game was already pretty much out of reach. And, you know, Nick Suzuki had 18 minutes, 31 seconds, led in ice time among all 4 centers. He had the goal, he had the assist. Like I said, his 7-game point streak ended on Saturday, but you know what? He's like, I'm still a point-per-game player, registered the goal and the assist, and now has 8 points through 8 games. And you know who else is a point-per-game player? Jonathan Drouin is a point-per-game player. Believe it or not, he picked up an assist on that first Nick Suzuki goal. And I found Jonathan Drouin also just had a very strong game. Like every time he had the puck on his stick, he did a really good job controlling it, maneuvering it out of danger. Whenever he had pressure, whenever it was forechecked, he would just make a couple of very nifty stick handles and dekes to get himself in better position to make plays. And honestly, that whole line, you know, Drouin, Anderson, and Suzuki, especially in that first period, I feel like every time they're on the ice, they're just flying all over the place. It's like, and Josh Anderson, by the way, I said this on Twitter. It's easy to say hindsight is 2020, so it's easy to say after the fact, but I'm not so sure the Canadiens get shut out against the Flames on Saturday if Josh Anderson's in the lineup. Just saying. But anyway, next we'll get to Artturi Lehknonen, man. It was his 300th NHL game, and I mean, I haven't seen every single second of all those 300 NHL games, I'll be completely honest, but, you know, the type of player that Artturi Lehknonen is, just tough on the forecheck, tough to play against, relentless in the offensive zone, good defensively or responsible defensively as a forward. But his one knack, he basically does everything that an NHL winger needs to do. And he works hard, right? Great work ethic, great passer, smart hockey player, does everything that he needs to do as an NHL right or left winger, whatever you want to call him, except put the puck in the net. So when he has a game like today where he gets rewarded for his hard work, is just awesome to see, especially in his 300th game. So he scored that shorthanded goal, forced the turnover. I think it was Adam Gaudette to get the Vancouver defenseman, who he just essentially just baited into the turnover, came in loose on Braden Holtby and made a really nifty backhand 5-hole goal on Holtby. And that was the 6th shorthanded goal of the Montreal Canadiens this season. That's another thing, man. Like the Canadiens, they're just mind-bogglingly good. That's a word, mind-bogglingly, yeah. They're just so good at creating offense, even though they're shorthanded. And honestly, yeah, between Lehkkinen and Jake Evans and Paul Byron, that entire 4th line is just so good at sustaining offensive zone pressure this year. Like every single game, it's like they have at least 3 shifts where it's almost like they have a power play in the offensive zone. And Lehkkinen even had another chance in the second period shorthanded, and his shot Like he was going for the far blocker side on Holtby, which was a little bit open, but he missed his shot by like that much wide. And then also there was another one. He did have a classic Lehkkinen miss in the second period where he was like wide open on the doorstep, but just shot it a mile wide. But as Martini and Pierre Houd described him on the RDS broadcast, they're saying how he joue avec des ailes, like he's playing with wings, Yeah, like he had a goal, he had the assist in 13 minutes and 39 seconds of ice time. This is definitely Lekkninen's best game of the year, easily. And it was his 300th game of his career. So congratulations, Artturi Lehknonen, on that. And with that being said, his work with Paul Byron and Jake Evans led to that first Jeff Petry goal. Jeff Petry, that was just such a beautiful finish, just like an absolute snipe on high on Holtby's blocker side. Like, yeah, just what a shot by Jeff Petry. And then, of course, there was the finish on the power play set up by a beautiful toe drag by Jeff Petry. Like, I did find Petry had some, Corey Perry before. It was Corey Perry on the toe drag that banked it to Jeff Petry. But I did find that Petry did have some giveaways that could have ended, not too well. But overall, like, he is the best defenseman on the Montreal Canadiens, is he not? I mean, Weber, again, is the captain. He's the most reliable and he's the steadiest defenseman, let's say, or at least he's the mountain for a reason, Shea Weber is. And he played in his 999th career game today. He'll play in his 1000th career game tomorrow. But I just feel like Jeff Petry at both ends of the ice, offensively, defensively, maneuvering the puck, breaking out of his zone, making that first pass, walking along the blue line, making it just look so effortlessly out there. In this game, he had 2 goals, 1 assist, was a +3. He had 3 hits, 4 shots on goal, 20 minutes, 25 seconds. Like, he is definitely the most efficient defenseman on the Montreal Canadiens and an elite NHL defenseman. And maybe even a Norris Trophy candidate. Maybe. Leave a comment in the comment section if you think so, or if you think otherwise. I'd want to hear back from you. But yeah, just what a game from Jeff Petry. And I'm so happy I also got him on my fantasy hockey team, but no one cares about that. But anyway, next, let's get into some Brendan Gallagher right now. I found Brendan Gallagher. You could throw Tatar and Thomas Tatar and Philip Deneau in that one as well. Obviously, the Gallagher goal was a beautiful finish off the backhand that was set up by Nick Suzuki in the neutral zone. But I feel like whenever Gallagher's line was on the ice with Deneau and Tatar, like especially in the first period again, they were also really relentless on the forecheck. And I feel like this was Philip Deneau's best game as well. He created a shorthanded chance in the third period. And I just feel like I said, like pretty much all the forward lines that first line of Deneau, Tatar, and Gallagher were just, they were noticeable and they were relentless on the forecheck and they were really good at maintaining zone and maintaining pressure in the Canucks zone all game long. So yeah, kudos to Brendan Gallagher for the goal and the rest of his line for playing a really good game. Tyler Toffoli is next. I mean, look, every single game, like we get to see how just like Tyler Toffoli is. You could throw him in the category of Nick Suzuki as well, as just a really, really smart hockey player. A smart, knows where to be at the right time, like creates offense, just really poised with the puck in the offensive zone. So he drew a penalty in the second period on Nate Schmidt. He also had a breakaway, of course. It feels like the Habs get like 1 million breakaways a game because of their speed. And look, he's just burying the chances that he gets. He buried another one on the power play off a nice feed from Shea Weber and Jeff Petry. It was a shot initially blocked by Tyler Myers, by the way, and Toffoli banked in or finished it. And yeah, Toffoli, look, he had 7 shots on goal in 14 minutes, 27 seconds, and now has 6 goals against the Vancouver Canucks alone. And also, like I said, you got to give Corey Perry some love for that toe drag. And I feel like the Canadiens have gotten more than enough revenge already on Tyler Myers for that hit on Armia. The NHL didn't suspend him, but between Tyler Myers being in bad position on Suzuki when he scored in that game immediately after in Vancouver, and then this game blocking that shot from Jeff Petry and being in pain, and then the puck landing on Shea Weber's stick, who fed Toffoli, who tipped it in easily. It's like, if he didn't get suspended, but he just keeps paying the price for what he did to Yoel Armia. Tyler Myers did. So, and of course, look, the power play continues to be a force. We'll get into that a little more in a bit, but Corey Perry, I want to mention him as well, just continues to be a really calm and really consistent and just an effective presence on the power play. Even the one, he's on the second wave and they had a shift early or at some point in the second period. I remember they're kind of maneuvering the puck along the outside, but then he said, you know what, he got it down low on his he was in the left corner. And he's like, you know what? Screw this passing around the outside. I'm just going to throw it at the net and see what happens. And it pretty much created a scoring chance on that power play. So yeah, just Corey Perry, even though again, he's playing 12, 13 minutes a game, he's effective when he's on the ice. And Tyler Toffoli, of course, as well, continues to create a lot of scoring chances. Next, I want to talk about Jesperi Kotkaniemi. He got the assist on the Jeff Petry goal in the off the play he started in the neutral zone, excuse me. And he was a little bit late covering the front of the net on the Jay Beagle goal. That was a little bit between him and Victor Mete, the one in the second period once the game was already out of hand. But he still does more good things than bad things. And I find Jesperi Kotkaniemi, if there's one thing that he improved on the most, from his first 2 years versus the bubble and now 2021, is his forechecking. Like he's just such a pain in the you-know-what on the forecheck. And he's not like Lehkkinen or Byron, who are like, they're a different type of pain on the forecheck, or Gallagher. They're a different type of pain on the forecheck. Like they're small, annoying, relentless, whatever. But Kotkaniemi is more just like smart stick positioning, obviously a bigger body. So he'll finish his hits, and he's just really good on the forecheck, and for the most part, except for that one instance against the on the Jay Beagle goal there, Jesperi Kotkaniemi is good in his defensive zone. Just the next step is now we got to see him put the puck in the net a little more often, get that really good shot of his, get it to the net and score more goals. That's the next step. But he's still 20 years old and again, still does way more good things than bad things. And he's perfect in his role right now, behind or in the same area as Jake Evans / Philip Deneau and Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki is probably the number one center at this point. But yeah, Kotkaniemi is like a 2B type of center, is perfect right now. And again, a couple of other trends. The Habs speed through the neutral zone is just, how do you stop it, man? Like I said, it feels like the Habs get a million breakaways and they get a million breakaways a game, a million more odd man rushes. And it feels like every time they get a clean breakout out of their own zone, they're on the rush. Like they're on an odd man rush in the offensive zone in a split second like that. They make that first pass out of their zone. And if they're uncontested, if the Habs are uncontested in the neutral zone, they're gone. Boom. Like just their speed is just creates so much opportunity on the rush, so many breakaways, so many odd man rushes. And we saw plenty more examples of that in this game against the Vancouver Canucks. And of course, the special teams. This was another game that the Montreal Canadiens won in 2021, where they scored a 5-on-5 goal, a power play goal, and a shorthanded goal. They now have 6 shorthanded goals on the year. And just look, the Canadiens are just like the special teams, 5-on-5, even strength has been just unreal this year. Maybe save for that one game against Calgary on Saturday, but again, just solid. Like they're solid, man. Now, I do want to talk about, I don't have any bad habits per se in this one, but there are two players I do want to talk about in this one. Let's talk about Carey Price right now. And I'm not gonna hate on Carey Price right now. But I do want to say, look, he made some really big saves early, but that goal that went in on him, like the one, it was the Adam Gaudette goal. It was a bit of just a weird splitter / knuckle puck on him, and I feel like Victor Mete was also screening him a bit more on Victor Mete in a bit. But just, I'm nitpicking here. I'm really just nitpicking, but I just feel like, Price this year is still kind of allowing like that one iffy goal a game, or every 2 games he's allowing like one iffy goal, By the way, the Jay Beagle goal wasn't really his fault. That was just more of a turnover behind the net, pass right in front of Jay Beagle, who finished with a really nice shot. But credit Carey Price for making good saves in early on the game when it was close, especially the Canucks had an early power play early on. Price had to make a lot of big saves there, and he finished with 27 saves in the victory. And like I said, he played well enough to win. And in the context of this game, we can just leave it at that. Price played well enough to win, and that's all you can ask from your starting goaltender. And of course, last but not least, Victor Mete. Now, Okay, Victor Mete. I'm going to take a little water to get into this. This is his first game in 2021, so we have to keep that in mind. This was his first game since the bubble, all right? But the problem is, obviously, he supposedly asked for a trade on Saturday after or shortly after the game. I say supposedly because obviously his agent said it, but then Marc Bergevin supposedly denied it. So I'll just say he allegedly asked for a trade on Saturday after not playing all season. Obviously waits for the perfect time to, like, after regulation, lost the first Habs regulation loss of the season, to ask for the trade, and then he plays like, is he really that much better than Brett Kulak in the lineup, So from that standpoint, that's just what bothers me. The fact that he supposedly asked for a trade and created a headline on the weekend after the Habs' first regulation loss of the season, and that was his green light to get into the lineup. That's what kind of bothered me. And the fact that he played, let's talk about his game. So I found he played really well offensively. He was good at joining the rush. He even led a couple of rushes, or was on his very first shift. He was in the offensive zone leading the rush. He also led another really good offensive attack in the second. And he even had a chance late in the third period where he sprung loose backdoor. Tatar almost found him. Would have been a really nice goal if he scored it. But defensively, man, he wasn't really good defensively. And that's the bottom line. He was out of position. He was on that first goal. Like I said, I feel like part of why Price couldn't really stop it or handle it well is because his body was too much in the way and he didn't block it. He should have gotten a stick on the puck instead of his knee enough behind the puck to risk to block Price's sight, right? So I feel like, just get more in Adam Gaudette's face to deflect that. Although that goal was set up by a Romanov turnover in the neutral zone. So obviously that's the first mistake, and Mete could have been a little bit more in Gaudette's face. And then also, of course, Mete took a hooking penalty, and then him and Kotkaniemi were late getting back to the front of the net to cover Jay Beagle and the Jay Beagle goal. I just feel like this game for Victor Mete was kind of him trying to do a little bit too much. But then you know what? He did make a really nice play in the D zone where the Canucks, they dumped it in. They tried to rim it in, took a really funny bounce off a stanchion off the glass and bounced right back in front. And Price obviously was going out to play it, and there was a Canucks player right there to try to get a wide open net, but Mete wisely, deflected or swiped it out of danger zone and out of harm's way. So that was a really good play that he made defensively. But overall, 17 minutes, 45 seconds, -2. Bottom line, he was good offensively, needs to be a lot better defensively, and Brett Kulak is probably a better option in the lineup for most occasions going forward. But the bottom line, hey, again, it was another fantastic game by the Montreal Canadiens, fantastically awesome game by the Montreal Canadiens. I feel like another great strength of this team is that they're so good at stepping on the jugulars of their opponent. Whenever they get a little bit ahead, they just get another 2-3 goals they score in bunches. And unlike maybe what they've done in the past, unlike what the Canadiens have done in the past, and with the you could mention the Toronto Maple Leafs a little bit for all the goals that they score. But anyway, what I'm saying is that the Canadiens, when they get ahead, they stay ahead. They except for that, obviously, ironically, that one game against the Leafs. Whenever the Habs, they get ahead, they stay ahead. They just bury teams. They score goals in bunches, and they essentially just they make teams check themselves out and just mail it in for the rest of the game. And honestly, though, the Canucks are even worse than they were 2 weeks ago. And even though Braden Holtby, I feel like Braden Holtby played a really good game. It's nice to see the Habs score 1 million goals on him after not being able to buy one for the last 5 years while he's in Washington. But even though Holtby didn't play that bad, he didn't really make a difference. And I feel like Thatcher Demko coming in tomorrow night, assuming he plays, will be a little bit of more of a challenge than Braden Holtby was for the Montreal Canadiens to score on. But hey, we'll see. We'll probably see Jake Allen for the Habs in net tomorrow night, but let's hope the Montreal Canadiens keep it rolling. And that's all we got here for today's Montreal Canadiens postgame show. As usual, if you enjoy my content, if you enjoy my commentary, give me a big thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Mike Langer. I'll include that in the description below. This has been a Habs postgame show here on Langer at the Mic Live. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Go Habs, go.